Wow, that's a fantastic question, isn't it? And one we're grappling with at the moment in the context of our continued work with that group of organisations, the task force. And I'd go to the point that Michael's making, it's continuing to listen, reminding ourselves that where all the good things we were doing, valuing people's time, listening to them carefully, setting goals and working hard at that are still the same now as they were then, even if the imperatives have changed. So, but at the moment for me, really listening hard, trying to understand how the kind of narrative out there and among those partners and stakeholders is changing, how the priorities are changing, but at the same time trying to keep the fundamentals there. So that's the best answer I've got for you right now.
Christine?
Yeah, I'm actually going to draw on some of my past experience, because this conversation we have about why can't we do these things in an emergency situation, and Ian will know this, is a perennial conversation that we used to have in the disaster management space, because Queensland does have a lot of disasters. We're very experienced in this space, and there's always this conversation about we do fantastically well, we come together, we work across government and across sectors really well, and then when it's over, we go back to kind of BAU. And then the next one comes, we've built those relationships that endure, we mobilise again, and we can do it, but then again we go back. So the question, and that's always that question about why can that united response not be BAU? And that is something we've grappled with for a long time. And I think the answer is we can't take those relationships for granted. And it comes back to Belinda's earlier point about when you get back into your office and you're kind of consumed by other things, if you don't make that proactive effort to kind of get out there and have those conversations to generate the opportunities to collaborate, they're not going to happen. You need to find another basis for momentum to make it happen. And so therefore it's hanging on to what did we do, but not just assuming that because we did it, we now know how to do it, therefore we will do it. It's we actually have to find a different way to actively manage it to make it happen.
Thank you, and I'll come to you in just a moment, Michael. But can I ask you, Ian, have you got something to add there in terms of you've been on so many different partnerships, and as you said in the room previously, things can just stop. How do we carry them forward?
And this is backing up what Christine said. We learned very early on that you can't build partnerships at the time of the first shot. In other words, at the time when the disaster hits. You've fundamentally got to be doing this right across the sector. And I don't just mean the public sector, I mean all of the other agencies that get involved all the time. And again, it's about not taking things for granted. It's about making sure that you're reinforcing that, because personnel change. And the moment that happens, you've got to build the partnership again. So it's really, really critical. And yeah.
That's a good point that we're building them now for what may be the next crisis or the next big thing. Michael, did you want to add anything?
Well, I think that point is right. I mean, our relationship with Energy Queensland is over a decade, and we've worked with them on numerous projects with numerous people, and sometimes we've come up with good solutions and we've developed better outcomes. Other times we haven't got anywhere with them. But the key thing is they're very clear and honest about what they're trying to achieve, and they're open to change. The change has to be justified and it has to be sustainable, not just from an environmental point of view, but from an infrastructure sustainability point of view. And that is just conversation after conversation. And with a big organisation in relationships, there is no single voice in a large organisation. So just because you've got a relationship with one section of a large organisation doesn't mean you have a relationship with that organisation. You need to make sure your relationship is multifaceted and you've got all relevant parts of an organisation in, because they've all got their own issues and needs, and you just can't go to the person who you like talking to and who says all the right things to you, because that's not going to help.